Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Quick Spin, the Autoweek podcast that gets to the essence of the automobile. Today, we're talking about something a little extra special, a Porsche 993 reimagined by Gunther Werks. That's right, this is one of those high-end reimagined Porsches, and it's driven by the great Mark Vaughn, who's joining us to talk about it. You can check out this Porsche right now on our Instagram page. It's at Autoweek USA. And while you're there, head over to our Facebook page too, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Really do appreciate it. And if you want to do one last thing, you can also head over to Apple Podcasts, where we get this bad boy, and drop a review. Give us those 5 stars. Really do appreciate it. Like the great Moose, who left us a fantastic review. Thank you so much, Moose. But before we get to this Porsche 911, we've got to pay the bills. Our friends at Road and Trek have some big news to share. The premium lifestyle magazine for the automotive enthusiast is now fully loaded. Become a member of the Trek Club and receive 6 supersized double issues a year, plus access to digital content, dozens of partner privileges, exclusive invites to editorial events, and first dibs on insider automotive events both online and around the world. Hop on in by visiting roadandtrek.com/join. That's ROADANDTRACK.com/JOIN. Mark, tell me about this Porsche reimagined by Gunther Werks? Is that the correct name?
Gunther Werks. Yeah, it's the guy who owns it and started it is clearly not German, but he was inspired by the 993 Porsche. He thought that was the greatest thing in the world, and his idea is to take all the best things about that Porsche and sort of, in a way, not bring them into the modern era, because it's very much an analog car in a digital world. And that's really what he wanted to do. He wanted to take that car that he loved so much and really make it the best that it could possibly be. And so what he's done is his company now, they take these 993s, basically the Porsche 911 from 1995 to 1998, and they completely reimagine them, as they say. That's the term they use, reimagine. They do this the whole way through. I went to their place down in Costa Mesa, and I saw all the stations. And the first station is disassembly, and I thought that for me was the most fascinating one. They wind up with basically just the frame of the car, the steel frame, and all the fenders are removed. All the parts are removed. I mean, the air conditioning, compressor, the engine, obviously, suspension, everything is completely stripped out, and it's spread on the floor around the car. And I think any billionaire who is thinking, oh, I am a genius, I will build my own car, should go and see all that stuff lying around on the floor, all the stuff that goes into a car. It's just amazing. So they take it all apart, and some of it, they don't use again. They make their own stuff for it. Particularly the body panels are all carbon fiber. So pretty much everything you're looking at is carbon fiber of their own design. It's a much wider track, wider fender flares to accommodate these wheels and tires. The engine goes out to their own guy who does their own engines. It comes back as a 4-liter flat 6, obviously naturally aspirated. And it's not like a crazy supercar number. It's 400 horsepower, which is very good, but it's not something that they're doing for the stats. It's kind of in the same way that Gordon Murray is making his current supercar. He wants it to feel really great when driven, and that's the idea with Gunther Werks.
Well, he also took some time to give us a quick walk around of this Gunther Werks, and let's go to that right now.
Okay, welcome to the Gunther Werks 400R. This is an all carbon fiber, the skin outside, everything you see just about, is all carbon fiber. A $565,000 reimagining of the Porsche 911. And it's a 993 911, so, it's what many people consider the most tactile Porsche 911 ever made. And it's been fitted with modern amenities. So this has carbon fiber buckets, 6-piston Brembos, milled aluminum headlights, things like that. It's got massive, as they say in the car magazines, massive Pirelli P0 Rossos, measuring 315 across in the back, which is just huge. And of course, they had to make enormous fender flares to fit those things in there. This particular one has a gigantic rear wing on the back, FIA spec rear wing, actually taken from race cars, and they tell me that there is a commensurate front splitter to balance that out aerodynamically. So let's see what that 400 horsepower, 330 pound-foot engine sounds like. Let's start it up.
And sorry to pause everyone for the real fast. We're going to get to the startup and a drive in a little bit. But before we do that, Mark, they did change the name on this, so I've heard.
Right, yeah, I said 400R, which at the time when I was recording it, I had not been informed that it is no longer called the 400R. It's 993 reimagined by Gunther Werks or something like that. I'm going to get the name wrong, and they'll probably sue me. But anyway, it's no longer called the 400R.
No, but it is a reimagined Porsche. So real fast, we got to look at this from the big camera on down, right? There's a lot of these reimagined Porsches out there, right? We have Rod Emery's Outlaws. We have the Porsches by Singer. Where does this fit in that world? Obviously, it's the newer car, the 993, but I guess how does it stack up?
I've been lucky enough to drive both a Singer and one of these cars, actually two of these cars. Several years ago, I drove the sort of the prototype, which at the time was called the 400R, and I gotta say, I don't know. The problem is the one that I got, since all the Gunther Werks cars are built specifically to order, some people want a flat out race car. You know, just like pure performance, loud and not crude, but, you know, really visceral kind of experience. And other people want a far more refined thing. Now, I wound up driving the car that was more like a race car. So it was not comfortable to drive around in city streets, just as any race car would not be comfortable. But when you get up on a really good mountain road, which of course I took it up, it is really at home there. And I did not get on a racetrack in this thing, but I can imagine that it would be perfectly at home on a racetrack. It's just, it has that feel. You know, the bucket seat that you're sitting in this car was sort of tilted forward to get you right over the steering wheel. I mean, it did not recline. The noise was considerable, both inside and outside of the car. There's a huge FIA spec wing on the back. All of this stuff does really well on a racetrack and is, not really built for city driving, for daily driving. And that's what this customer wanted. In the showroom at the time that I was down there, they had another one that was set up for street driving. I did not get to drive that one, but I got to think that would be something maybe for a more all-around use. Now, your original question, how does this line up against that? Comparing just this one car that I drove, I would say that the Singer and some of the other Porsches are more livable than this extraordinary, extreme example. But I say that not having driven the more comfortable street-going cars. So, that's not an answer to your question, where does it fit in on the spectrum? But if you consider that it's over $500,000 just to start, just to walk in the door, you're going to set it up exactly how you want it. So,
and this car, as we're about to experience, is set up, like you said, maybe more performance-oriented. So let's cut to you driving it.
I'm very, very carefully backing it out of my driveway because I don't want to have to pay $565,000. Actually, this one is much more than that. That $565,000 figure is just to start when you walk in the door at Gunther Werks down in Huntington Beach, California. So I am tiptoeing to the extent that Pirelli Rossos will tiptoe down my driveway. Driveway never seemed that long. This driveway, by the way, was built for Model Ts, not for something as ridiculous as this. Now, when I get to the bottom of the driveway, I'm pushing a button that electrically raises the front end so that I don't scrape the beautiful splitter that Gunther Werks has done. Gunther Werks' sister company, Vorsteiner, not the beer. It is not a beer. They specialize in carbon fiber. And so here we go. This ride, I mean, I'm going down a city street and I feel like I'm in the Baja 1000. This thing is set up very, very stiffly, and it's not what you would call a daily driver by any stretch. So all you're getting here is a little bit of driving in suburbia. Maybe when I get to a freeway on-ramp, I will try that. Terrifying my neighbors. Luckily there's no HOA here, but there is a police department in this city, so.
If there's a young person in your life who's really into cars, give them the gift of R&T Crew, the ultimate subscription box by Road & Track for kids ages 6 to 10. Every other month, a box is delivered to their door and is stuffed with cool accessories, fun activities, and a magazine chock full of facts, stories, games, and more. Sign up now and receive the all-new Crushin' It issue and enter the code Autoweek for 10% off an annual box subscription. Just head to rtcrew.com, that's rtcrew.com, and use the code AUTOWEEK. But the police will understand that you are driving a very special car. But no, with a quick spin, we always try to get to the essence of the automobile, and this might be a little more challenging with a Porsche that's been reimagined. But Mark, what is the essence of this Porsche 993 reimagined by Gunther Werks? What is its essence?
Well, what they started out with, the original idea was the question, what if we could build the ultimate money, no object 993? And I think that is the essence of it. It's everybody remembers fondly the 993, and everybody has their own stories about it. Many of our readers probably own several of them.
I own 6.
It was, yeah, you do not, and everybody just loves that car in memory, if not in reality. So starting with that. For many, the perfect car, make it better. And that is kind of what they've done. And they've taken it to probably the ultimate extreme that it can go. It's a little bit different from the Singer, but in its own way. You don't want to be an exact copy of that. Obviously, Rod Emery is making completely different cars. He's hammering them out of metal, and he's making each one as a work of art. There's a couple other companies doing this, and they each have their own take on it. So, I think if you look at it from their original goal of the ultimate 993, I think that they have succeeded, and they've succeeded in a number of different ways. So however you want your car, tell them and they'll make it for you.
No, I think, Mark, I completely agree. This seems like the ultimate 993, and if that was their target, I think they hit it. But more importantly, I think that's a good time to wrap this one up. Thank you, Mark, for driving this 993. I'm sure it was a challenge and a chore, but someone has to do it.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be of service.
And most importantly, if you could, please drop us a little review. Let us know how we're doing. If you hear this on Apple Podcasts, make sure to drop us those 5 stars. Let us know what you want to hear in the future. Let us know how it's going. But most importantly, and I can't stress this enough, thank you for listening. Without your listenership, this would not be possible.